Cory, HP's revenue growth was driven by strong sales of PC. Who knew, right? Basically, we're all saying that the PC is totally dead. I just wonder, can this continue?
That's a great question. I mean, fundamentally, the results of the quarter were a little bit better from a revenue perspective, 1% increase year over year, which, for Hewlett-Packard, that's a good thing. But profits were down 29% year over year. So you wonder what's going on. If you look inside of the results from Hewlett-Packard, what you discover is that the Windows XP, the end of service, Microsoft said they're going to stop supporting Windows XP. There was a rush to replace computers. Hewlett-Packard said on the conference call, not in the press release, but in the conference call, they admitted that Meg Whitman said, we think that that's over. The Windows XP expiration has contributed to our growth. But then she went on to say, although we believe we're through much of that benefit. So this was a one-time thing, and they were pretty careful to point that out in the discussion in the conference call.
All right.
So maybe investors shouldn't get too excited about that.
So what else can this company do? I mean, what does she turn to next if it's not the PC to generate some sales?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, the question for this company has always been, can they move into more profitable businesses? Can they take the advances that they'd had in the server business, use the revenue and the slight profits from the printing business and the revenue from the PC business to build a software business, to do big acquisitions, to make a higher revenue software business out of Hewlett-Packard? And those efforts are really not panning out. I mean, we continue to see weakness in their software sales. While the PC business was up, the rest of the business was down 3% year over year, and they were careful to point out on the conference call that what happened last quarter is not going to happen again.
Layoffs, they had a lot of layoffs, of course. Those are continuing. 50,000 people losing their jobs under Meg Whitman's leadership. When is all this restructuring there at HP expected to end?
I mean, that's the thing that gets me about the Hewlett-Packard story, is that this sort of extraordinary one-time expense, the extraordinary expense of restructuring, has been going on for 15 years. Every one of the last 15 years, they've had a restructuring expense. And you wonder at what point they really should be considering this operating earnings. It's not illegal, but I think when people look at non-GAAP results, excluding restructuring, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, because after 15 years, it's not extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean,
anymore.
Cory, 15 years, you're absolutely right, of one-time expenses. At some point, you start to say to yourself as an investor, enough is enough. Moving on, what possible incentive really could Meg Whitman have to report non-GAAP earnings in this way?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's two possible reasons, right? One is because she wants to shine a light on the part of the business that she thinks is the future of the company. Don't worry about the stuff we've done in the past. But the non-GAAP earnings from this company don't reflect what's really going on. It's the GAAP earnings that reflect what's really going on, and those are shrinking. And it's worth noting that a quarter of her bonus is based on the non-GAAP earnings, as the pre-restructuring earnings, not the earnings the shareholders actually get. And I think that's worth noting.
So there's some rather perverse incentives that may be fueling some of this.